All right. I was not expecting to make this video. Funny story. I just got done filming some workout programs for you guys. And if y'all saw the one yesterday, it was about high metabolisms. And I went out and I talked to my wife about it for a little bit. And she was like, I think you should make a YouTube video on that. And I was like, really? Do people not know this? And she was like, no, I don't think people know much about it. So I am going to be as loving as possible, but as real as possible. So I'm just going to come out and say it. If you're soft and you like using excuses, this video is probably not for you. And I'm going to use a lot of myself as reference. Okay. So I'm going to start off this video by saying it's not your metabolism, it's you. You can't blame your body for you not achieving said goal. For this instance, I'm really just talking about my skinny guys, okay? So a little bit of a backstory. When I started lifting weights 13 years ago, I was very, very skinny. I was not in the other boat where I was very overweight. I was actually very, very skinny. I was 108 pounds at 14 years old. I was basically skin and bones. And I used the famous saying of, I can't gain weight because I have a fast metabolism. And I started working out and I still said, dang, well, I can't gain weight. And then I was like, wait a second, what even is your metabolism? I don't even know what this is. And then I started to learn more about it because let me backtrack a little bit. Usually, when people say I have a fast metabolism, I like to say, where is your metabolism? And they usually go like this. They don't know, right? Just to let you guys know, your metabolism is not in your stomach. Do you know that? It's throughout your entire body, okay? It's not a single location, right? Which a lot of people don't know about, okay? So I used to use that excuse a lot. And come to find out, I kept on using that excuse and using that excuse. And then I realized just because I used that excuse, I still didn't gain weight. So I was like, why is it that I can't gain weight actually? And the answer I got was not because I have a fast metabolism. You want to know what the answer was? I actually had a low metabolism. And I was skinny. Why do I say that? Well, when I started lifting, I did a 30-minute workout, lifting wise, about 3-4 times a week. That's it. Well, what were you eating? Well, I was eating chicken breast, carrots, and broccoli and potatoes pretty much for every single meal. I would have breakfast, which was basically like 3 eggs and toast. For lunch, I would have chicken, broccoli, carrots, and potatoes. Then for dinner, I would have chicken, broccoli, potatoes, and carrots. And, you looking from the outside in, you're like, well, of course you weren't gaining weight. But in my head, I'm like, I was eating a lot of food. And I was full. I was full. It was extremely hard for me to eat that last meal. And you're probably watching this video right now and you're like, this literally describes me. I literally can't eat. Okay? You don't have a fast metabolism. You don't have a high metabolism. Okay? If you had a high metabolism, you would be hungrier. That's what high metabolism means. Now, you could be a hard gainer, which it is it being hard to gain weight, right? But you saying you have a high metabolism doesn't make sense. You know who has a high metabolism? People that are obese. People that are 300 plus pounds. Also people that have a high metabolism. People that work out in the sun all day like construction. People that are, playing sports in high school or in college, having a very high activity level. Why do I say this? Well, having a high metabolism is directly linked to how much your body is working. Okay? So that means your body exhausted from the sun, your body, pouring out sweat, your body's working very hard, it's overheated. The person who runs, who does sprints at basketball practice or does conditioning at football practice, there's a high likelihood that they have a high metabolism. because their body is working very, very, very hard. Okay. For the same person who is obese, 300 plus pounds, their body is working very, very hard. I mean, the obese person that is 300 plus walking down the street, that's a lot of stress on the human body. So, in return, they are probably going to have a very, very high metabolism. Okay. Again, you do not have a high metabolism, it's just on you. All right. So, how do we solve this problem? Okay. What's the solution here? You're skinny and you think you have a high metabolism, but now I've completely shattered your dreams and you're like, crap, I've been wrong this entire time. And now you're just sitting there and you're like, well, I at least want a solution. Let me help you out real quick. Okay. First step, buy a food scale. All right. Track the exact food you're eating on a daily basis. Don't change anything. That's the first step. Buy a food scale, track absolutely everything that you are usually eating on a daily basis. If you don't know how to track, learn. All right? Because if you don't learn how to track your food, you may as well stop watching this video now. Okay? Just being completely honest with you. If you don't know how to track your food or you don't want to learn how to track your food, then that's just lazy and you're not going to achieve the goals that you are wanting to achieve. Okay? Now, if you are tracking your food and there is a very, very high, when I mean high, I mean extremely high likelihood, you are probably eating 2,000 calories or below. Very high likelihood. Okay. And if that is you, increase your calories by 500. Not kidding. Okay. Now, here's the kicker. Let's say you're eating 1,900 calories and you haven't gained weight at all. Makes sense. You're not going to gain weight at 1,900 calories. Nobody will, okay? Except a female who is, 100 pounds, right? She may gain weight at 1,900 calories, okay? But for a male, sorry, you're not gaining weight at 1,900 calories. Impossible, not going to do it, all right? Unless you're like 10 years old, okay? That's a lot of food for a 10-year-old. Most of the people that watch my videos are in their 20s. Okay, for a 25, 26-year-old male who goes to work, that works out 3 or 4 times a week, if you're eating 1,900 calories, you're not going to get stronger, you're not going to put on muscle mass, and you're going to be at the same spot until you increase your food. That's the truth, if you really want it. Okay, so you need to increase your food by at least 400, 500 calories. So let's just make it even. Let's say 2,000 calories. Increase it to 2,500. Okay, now for your fat content, I do not want you to exceed 80 grams. That's it. I do not want you to exceed 80 grams. I want the rest of the calories to go into your proteins and fats. I want you to eat at least 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight and then have the rest carbs. That's it. That is the easiest way to do it. Okay? Now, you may be thinking, well, that's going to be really, really hard. Like, I'm not used to eating that much. Yeah, I'm not saying do it tomorrow. I'm not saying change your life overnight, but what I am saying is you need to start incorporating more food in your diet on a daily basis, okay? Let me give you an example. On my cut, I do my best to have a low metabolism. Believe it or not, I try and have a low metabolism. I try and do my workout, I try and do my cardio, and then I try and chill. I try and do nothing else, because I do not want to be hungry. Another thing that I do is I only eat 3 meals a day. Me eating only 3 meals a day, that is going to help my body not work as hard, okay? If I'm eating constantly throughout the day, your body works more, and in return, your metabolism is going to increase because your body's working more, okay? So that is me when I cut. I only like to eat 3 meals. Now, when I am on a lean bulk, like what I'm doing now, I'm putting on size, I'm getting stronger. I like to eat at least 5 times a day. Okay, so I eat something in the morning before I go to the gym. I eat breakfast. I have a snack, or I call it like first lunch. I have first lunch, second lunch, and then dinner. Okay, now why do I do this? So you increasing your meal times, this is going to help your metabolism because your body is going to be working harder, okay? If your body is working harder digesting food, your metabolism is going to increase. So if you're like, oh, I throw up every time I eat, it's so hard for me to, eat more food, Start with something small, okay? So if you're usually eating breakfast, lunch, and dinner, okay, in between breakfast and lunch, have like a 150 calorie Oikos yogurt cup. Something really, I'm not asking you to eat 4 meals of 1,000 calories. All right, that's not what I'm saying, right? But start with something very, very small. Okay, this could be as something as little as right when you wake up in the morning, eat a banana. Anyone can eat a banana first thing when they wake up, right? It's going to be hard to digest 400 calories worth of eggs first thing when you wake up. But anyone can eat a nice sweet banana or an apple. Everyone loves that. Everyone loves fruit first thing in the morning. Start with that, okay? So you need to increase frequency of meals, and this will help you gain weight over time, okay? So I wanted to make this video because I'm actually surprised at how many people still say they have a high metabolism, but when they say they have a high metabolism, it actually does not relate to them having a high metabolism. It actually relates to them having a very low metabolism. Because high metabolisms are associated with people who have a very high activity level or extremely obese. Low metabolisms are usually with people that are very skinny, where it is very hard to gain weight. Okay, so I hope this video brought you some value. I want to leave you with one thing, and it is you probably don't have a high metabolism. It's probably just you. Don't lean on excuses. It'll save you a lot of headaches in the future. Hope you guys enjoyed. I will catch y'all in the next video.